There's lots of disadvantage. There's so many Aboriginal groups saying they're doing something about it. 2,700 Aboriginal organisations. You've got more than 30 land councils. You've got 11 federal politicians saying they're Aboriginal, identifying as Aboriginal. You've got I don't know how many different Aboriginal groups. There are so many, and you've still got these problems. It's not about a lack of consultation, but I want to come back to that question again. Forget the details. This is about fundamental principle. A Labor plan to divide Australians by race and giving one side, one race, different political rights to another. As a Liberal, dedicated to everyone being equal before the law, how can you possibly even think about agreeing to something like that? It is not about details, it's about a fundamental principle.
Well, Andrew, for my position, I've been very upfront and honest in relation to my approach. That is that we're going through a discussion now. We're going through trying to obtain all of the detail from the Prime Minister and from the government, and the onus is on the Prime Minister to provide that detail to millions of Australians. If there are fatal flaws, if there are insurmountable issues that we can't get over, then we'll be very clear about that. But I'm considering respectfully all of the information that is there at the moment.
Details are important. Details are important. I agree with you. And you've fleshed out some terrible lack of details from this government, right? My question is about the principle, the racial... This is what a lot of Australian, Liberal supporters don't understand, how the Liberal Party could possibly be playing footsie with a re-racialisation of Australia, a re-tribalisation, a new apartheid even. And a new poll today saying 10%, only 10% of Liberals would say yes to this. We're looking for leadership. No to racism. I don't know why the Liberals can't say that.
Well, Andrew, nobody's in favour of racism in the Liberal Party, and if they are, they don't have a place in our party. So that's the first point. But the point I was making before was that...
Doesn't have a place in our constitution.
I will make... I will make very clear my position in due course. There are a lot of commentators and people who are our supporters and others who were calling for us, demanding that we state a position before the government even made their announcement, when it was mooted that there would be a constitutional referendum. Now, we're in a position where I believe very strongly that we're putting appropriate pressure on the government, which we wouldn't have been able to do had we just raced out of the blocks and declared a position without listening to all of the facts. And I think the Prime Minister would be saying now he's not releasing any detail because Liberals have already made up their mind and other parties have already made up their mind, and therefore they don't deserve the detail. I think by the way in which we have entered this debate, as I say, in a respectful way, we have said on behalf of millions of Australians who may not be as adamant in their position as you are, that they want to hear that information, that they want the detail from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is now saying, well, hang on, this is not my idea. This is not my idea as Prime Minister. This is an idea that was just put to us by Indigenous leaders and he committed to it Gama. Well, there are millions of Australians who are on a broad spectrum in terms of their support or not in relation to the Voice, and we're representing those people and we're asking for the detail on their behalf so that they too can make an informed judgment in time.
Yeah, the Voice is not just for the, 3.6 or 7% of the Australians who identify as Aboriginal, it's also for the other 96% plus who aren't. It affects us all and we all have a say.
Of course.
Peter Dutton, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Andrew.